Peace, true peace. Happy holy day, peacemakers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are about to get started for today. First thing first, I want to go ahead and give all honors to the divine creator. I want to give honors to the prophet, Noble Ali. I want to give honors to the forerunner of the prophet, Honorable Marcus Garvey. I want to give honors to the original staff for the prophet. I want to give honors to those that came after the prophet, leaders such as C.M. Bey, H.I.M, the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Z. York, the messenger, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and many more. I want to give honors to everyone that'll be here in participation tonight, joining us for this holy day gathering. True peace, true peace, true peace. I want to give honors to all things indigenous, all things Moorish. And with that, we're going to get started for tonight with our divine supplication. We're going to kick it off. True peace. All right, y'all, so we're going to jump right into it. Begin our prayers and thinking by using the O Heavenly One, the Most High, who is sustainer of all the worlds, we do accept the duty you have laid on us to clean up the filth made by the West and its non-Semitic fools. O my sustainer, we beseech you to keep your hand over us to control the strings of the courses of our lives. Our sustainer, and if we do wrong, please show thy divine blessings and forgiveness on us. You are the only one that can raise us, true followers of the news bearers, and in thy name, we carry on. True peace. Happy holy day, Noble Sade. Alright, the cat got my hair, y'all. Oh, snap. Alright. Happy holy day, Noble. I'm about to give us our opening for the day. Give me 1 second. We're going to jump right into our 19 affirmations here in a second. I'll be right back. right, y'all. Let's jump right into these 19 affirmations. So I have to make sure I have my head wrap fixed for tonight. All right, y'all. Welcome to Branch Temple number 24, the Moorish Science Temple of America. We are a globally chartered and incorporated temple of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. You can join us by clicking that block of words at the top that says World Temple. I don't know if they still have the bell or not, but you can click the bell also, so you can get the signal for when we go live every week, every Friday and Sunday. So we're going to jump right into our 19 affirmations, what we call the daily affirmation of loyalty of the children of the Elohim and what we accept as fact. As it states, we accept as fact the eternal laws of nature as revealed through science, past events, logic, and common sense, revealed as right knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We accept as fact the highest laws of nature is the cooperation and harmony of all living things. We accept this fact our way of life as a means to the best end. We accept this fact that loyalty is the greatest of all honors and treason is the worst of all crimes. We accept this fact that what is good for the Holy Tabernacle is the highest virtue, and what is bad for the Holy Tabernacle is the ultimate evil. We accept this fact that the Holy Tabernacle is the finest and noblest organization for all humanity, created by circumstances, and the ancient and mystic order of Melchizedek is the noblest of fraternities on and above this planet. We accept this fact that creativity, love, and cooperation are the essence of success. We accept this fact that truth and facts are always and has always been the originator and creator of all success. We accept this fact that all worldwide cultures and civilizations came about from the ancient Sumerians and Kamite Egyptians and the Anunnaki, or Elohims from the heavens, without which there would be none. We accept this fact that for the Holy Tabernacle to survive, expand, and advance, we need, first of all, a revolution of values and thoughts, which must start within each person by being truthful with themselves and about themselves. Therefore, we completely and categorically reject all myths, fictions, religions, and lies that have not been proven. That would include your heavens, your hell, your hellfire and brimstones, your horned pitchfork devils, your winged angels, and your old man God character sitting on the throne up there somewhere. We deal strictly with facts. If you can't prove it, we don't want to hear it. It doesn't mean we won't listen to you. Just don't expect us to accept your beliefs by virtue of a title such as Reverend, Pastor, Deacon, Imam, Sheik, Rabbi, Minister, Theologian, etc. That is your sensationalism, and we deal with just the facts. We accept this fact that the only true revolution is a war of good against evil, right against wrong, fairness against unfairness, loyalty against disloyalty, sincerity against insincerity, honesty against dishonesty. And this war is fought within each person among the agreeable and disagreeable Elohims that make up your willpower. We accept this fact that the unity of our community and its success will only happen with cooperation, with all involved. We accept this fact, the total unification of all humanity on the basis of truth, that is accepting people and races for who and what they are, respecting their culture, their languages, and their beliefs, and expect the same. We accept this fact that the human race's biological and cultural heritage is now under attack by our own morals, our self-righteousness, our desire to control industry, and these things attack the very existence of humanity. We accept this fact that males as well as females are equal in all things and should be dealt with as partners in all matters. We accept this fact that no one race of people is better than the other. In fact, no one wins the race in racism. We accept this fact that communication between different people is the cure to the ignorance that breeds the disease hate. We accept this fact that a good and well-rounded education could prevent most of the ignorance that plagues the world. We accept this fact that the all is just that, the all. You can't take from the all, you can't add to the all. We are all within the all as one. That is our concept of what you call a deity. To the fulfillment of these facts, we children of the Elohim forever pledge our lives, our sacred honor, and our spiritual zeal. All right, we're going to jump into our weekly readings here. Get started for the day. I thought I'd text back in the chat. Let me share the room so that way people know that we are live in 5. And then we'll jump right into our weekly readings for this week, as we do it every week. You should also be reading those affirmations with your family. It's a good way to have family time and also embed some principles that'll take you a long way. So let me share the room real quick, get it out to our social medias. I'm also going to put the link to last week's Holy Day from YouTube because it got up there a little late, but I'll be putting that in the chat as well. So let me do 2 more shares and then we can get started with this week's reading. And y'all should share the room too, especially for those that come back listen to the replay. Share the room, spread the knowledge. Video in the chat too as well. Facebook accounts. Okay, I think that's it, y'all. So we're gonna jump right into the Holy Qur'an Circle 7 for this week. Open up with our weekly readings. But before we do that, of course, we need to do our Moorish prayer. So y'all know how it go. 2 fingers up, 5 fingers up. Facing the east. Feet at a 45-degree angle. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Zabuwr. All right, y'all, so let's jump into these affirmations and get started for this week. As it states, Act 1, the Grand Sheik and the Chairman of the Moorish Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the members of the Moorish Temple of America. Act 2, all means are to be opened and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Zabuwr Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Zabuwr Ali, through the guidance of his father God Allah. Islam. Peace, happy holiday, Noble.
Yeah, greetings. Happy Friday.
Happy holiday. Peace, Friday. All's well?
Yep, all is well.
Quick. All right, so we're going to jump into our weekly readings here. So for the week, our chapter 25, called the Holy Covenant of the Nation. Precursor, bringing each other together, gathering together in unity. The covenant, as it states, ye are the children of one father provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother had given you suck. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that binded you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Right, all right. Like I say, that's the precursor for our unity, our gathering. We're going to jump right into chapter 47 and 48. Chapter 47 is called Egypt, capital empire of the Dominion of Africa, and it states, the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family was second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of the dominion of America, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the father and the son, the dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of their brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa, they were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire. With their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sovereign from the land of Canaan, seeking new home. Their dominion and habitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across Great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantic Islands, before the great earthquake which caused the Great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaoh of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the Great Atlantic. It was used for trade and transportation. According to all true and divine records of the human race, there is no Negro, black, or colored race attached to the human family, because all the inhabitants of Africa were and are of the human race, descendants of the ancient Canaanite nation from the Holy Land of Canaan. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who was able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers, unless his power extends beyond the great universal creator Allah himself. These holy and divine laws are from the Prophet Noble Ali, the founder of the Uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they will learn to open their meeting and guide it according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Every subordinate temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and to create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. I, the Prophet Noble Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways for that great and awful day that is sure to come. The time is coming every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess its own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation is suffered slavery due to the fact that they honor not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and color was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their father and mother, and straight after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. All right, so we're going to jump into chapter 48. We officially open. Chapter 48 is called End of Time and the Fulfilling of the Prophet. And it states, the last prophet in these days is Noble Ali, who was prepared divinely in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways, and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon them. John the Baptist was the forerunner of Jesus in those days to warn and stir up the nation and to prepare them to receive the divine creed which is to be taught by Jesus. In these modern days, there came a forerunner of Jesus who was divinely prepared by the great God Allah, and his name is Marcus Garvey, who did teach and warn the nations of the earth to prepare to meet the coming prophet, who was to bring the true and divine creed of Islam, and his name is Noble Ali, who was prepared and sent to this earth by Allah to teach the old-time religion and the everlasting gospel to the sons of men, that every nation shall and must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and return to their own and be one with their Father God Allah. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the Prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States, etc. That the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa there is still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of man, under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nation of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations, as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. The covenant of the great God Allah, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earth, which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. Come, all ye Asiatics of America, and hear the truth about your nationality and birth, because you are not Negro. Learn of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that you will learn to love, that hate. We're trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourself with the family of nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. Islam. Knows a couple of us, so if any one of y'all want to be a featured speaker tonight, let me know in the chat. Other than that, I'll open up with our all as well. Not sure if y'all can tell, but just a little bit under the weather. Yeah, right. Peace. We're gonna do it. And share the room if you can. Get in transmission. So first thing first, go ahead and start with Holy Quran 37. So this is chapter 8, which is the holy instructions from the prophet called the soul of man, and also acknowledge all of the holy instructions given from the prophet, giving acknowledgement to those which we're supposed to go over here in the temple every week. But we're gonna kick it off. Soul of man, tonight, and jump over tab 12. So as it states in the ayat, it says the blessing, O man, of thy external part is health, vigor, and proportion. The greatest of these is health. So we can see that's talking about here tonight. Continuing on, it states, what health is to the body, even that is honest soul. That thou hast a soul is of all knowledge, the most certain of all truth, the most plain unto thee. Be meek, be grateful for it. Seek not to know it perfectly. It is inscrutable. Thinking, understanding, reasoning, willing. Call not these souls. They are its act, but they are not its essence. Raise it not too high, that thou not be despised. Be not despised.
Be not thou like unto those who fall by climbing, neither debase it to the sense of brute, nor be thou like the horse and the mule, in whom there is no understanding. Search it by its faculty, know it by its virtue. They are more in number than the hairs of thy head, stars of heaven, not to be counted with. Think not with Arabia that one soul is parting among all men, neither believe thou with these sons of Egypt that every man had many. Know that as thy heart, so also thy soul one. Do it not the sun harden the clay? Doeth it not also soften the wax? As it is one sun that worketh it both, even so it is one soul willeth it contrary. As the moon retaineth it her nature, though darkness spread itself before her face as a curtain, so the soul remaineth it perfect, even in the bosom of a fool. She is immortal, she is unchangeable, she is alike in all. Help calleth it her forth to show her love, and application anointed it her with the oil of wisdom. Although she shall live after thee, think not she was born before thee. She was created with thy flesh and formed with thy brain. Justice could not give her to thee exalted by virtue, nor mercy deliver her to thee deformed by vice. These must be thine, and thou must answer for them. Suppose not death can shield thee from examination. Think not corruption can hide from thee. He who formed thee of thou knowest it not what, can he not raise thee from thou knowest not what again? Perceiveth it not the cock, the hour of midnight? Exalteth it he not his voice to tell thee it is morning? Knoweth it not the dog the forestead of his master? Fleeth it not the wounded goat unto the herb that yielded him? Yet when these die, their spirit returneth it to dust. Thine alone surviveth. Envy not these their senses, because quicker than thy own, learn that the advantage about that. Learn that the advantage lieth not in possessing good things, but in knowing the use of them. True peace, after.
True peace, happy holiday.
It states, "Hadst thou the ear of the stag, or were thee eyes strong and piercing as the eagle? Didst thou equal the hound in smell, or could the ape resign to thee his taste, or could the tortoise her feeling? Yet without reason, what would they avail? Perish not all these like her kindred? Had any one of them the gift of speech? Can any say unto thee, therefore did I do? The lips of the wise as the doors of a cabinet, no sooner are open, but treasures are poured out before thee. Like unto trees of gold arranged in beds of silver, or wise sentences uttered in due season. Canst thou think too greatly of thy soul, or can too much be said in its praise? It is the image of him who gave it. Remember thou its dignity forever. Forget not how great a talent is committed by thy charge to thy charge. Whatsoever may do good may also do harm. Beware that thou direct its course to virtue. Think not that thou canst loose her in a crowd. Support not that thou canst bury her in thy closet. Action is her delight, and she will not be withheld from it. Her motion is perpetual. Her attempts are universal. Her agility is not to be suppressed. It is at the uttermost parts of the earth. Is it at the uttermost parts of the earth? She will have it. Is it beyond the regions of the stars? Yet will her eyes discover it. Inquiry is her delight. As one who traverses the burning sands in search of water, so is the soul that thirsteth it after knowledge. Guard her, for she is rash. Restrain her, for she is irregular. Correct her, for she is outrageous. More supple is she than water, more flexible than wax, more yielding than air. Is there aught that can bind her? As a sword in the hand of madman, even so is the soul to him who wanteth it discretion. The end of her search is truth. Her means to discover it are reason and experience. But are not these weak, uncertain, and fallacious? How then shall she attain unto it? General opinion is no proof of truth, but the generality of man are ignorant. Perception of thyself, the knowledge of him who create thee, the sense of worship thou owest unto him. Are not these plain before thy face? And behold, what is there more that man needed to know? So essentially what this instruction is saying from the prophet, you can't put wisdom in the box. Don't even try your luck. Don't even try to test for that. Or you're going to find it backfiring on yourself. Now you find a boatload of people trying to challenge the spirit of wisdom. That has no connection with their soul. Understand the principle of the soul. But I also do want to touch on what was brought up last week from Noble Simone about what is our game plan, where do we see ourselves going. Two piece Noble Nabat, two piece Rabat. Where's our game plan? Where do we see ourselves in the next couple years, the next 5, 15 years? Knowing that we have a divine mission, focus. So that's the reason why I wanted to start tonight with chapter 38 of Circle 7 Holy Quran, which is the instructions for the soul of man. Because like I say, we get caught up in trying to put knowledge, wisdom, and all of it is tinted in a box. So the point for tonight, and kind of piggybacking or camelbacking on what Noble Simone brought up last week about the direction that we're taking things. And we dropped a lot of jewels last week. I'm gonna put the link to that in the chat so y'all can hear it. I want to let Noble Nabat.
Hey, Rahul back, Shimshi Sadak. How's everything today?
Rob, my bad. I'm sorry about that. Rob back, Noble. Happy holy day, bro.
Happy Holy Day. How's everybody doing tonight or this evening?
I'm under the weather just a bit, but I'm keeping on with the keep on. I'm not sure how everybody else feeling, but I know I'm trying to take it slow. Just go slow. Do things with a little poise, a little more graceful than I would any other night, but all is well. All is well. No. Last week we had a 4-hour holy day, so I wanted to kind of touch on some of the things that we didn't get a chance to touch last week. Yeah, so when I pause and I mute out, that's just me sneezing over in the background. Like I said, I'm a little under the weather. But we're gonna keep things rocking and rolling. Let me put this link to I already did. So that's the link to last week's Holy Day on YouTube. And y'all can also check out our other YouTube. I want to tune in outside of Clubhouse. But I want to get into the Holy Quran Circle 7 first, and then like I said, we're gonna dive into the Holy Tablets tonight. Because of that, because of some of the things that were brought up last week, and like I said, y'all should go check out what we discussed last week about our direction economically and as a community in the 5-year game plan that we should focus on as people. So I'm gonna put the link to the Holy Tablets chat so that way y'all can follow me if you don't already have. Also on the temple website that's pinned at the top here above that says Holy Temple. So that way y'all can follow along. So we're gonna be diving into chapter 7, I think, called Holy Soul. The living soul, I'm sorry. The living soul. And the reason why we going into this particular part of the Holy Tablets today is because it's in conjunction with what we just read with the instructions, from the holy instructions from the prophet called the Soul of Man, and how they align. But first I want to give some backdrop first, because there's much confusion when it comes to the prophet and the standing of the master teacher, Dr. Malachi Gabriy'El, and what he stood on when it came to the knowledge and the wisdom of the prophet. And there's a lot of misconceptions that are put out there about the prophet works being redone or restructured and things like that by master teacher, which is totally from truth. The master teacher stood on majority, if not all, the core teachings of the prophet from what he had access to during the day and time. You know, we have Google and all these things now that are a little more upgraded than done during the time when the master teacher was teaching and doing his thing. But nevertheless, it's still the fact that remains the master teacher, as he said out of his own mouth before, that he went through the reincarnation of Noble Drew Ali within himself, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and Clarence 13X, which I meant to give high honors to earlier as well, as one of those leaders that came after the prophet. So there's a lot of misunderstanding when it comes to the work of the teacher. And me having a background in the Wabu before even becoming chartered in the Moorish Science Temple of America, I want to be one of the first to give clarity to those things. So we're going to kick this off. As we know, we begin our acts and thinking by using the all. This chapter is called El Hayu Rahu, which means the living soul. Hayu for living, Hayu, living, Rahu, soul. Same way you would say Ruach, in Hebrew. So we're going to jump into this reading here because, like I said, it's in conjunction with what we just read in the Holy Instructions for the Soul of Man. And it's concerning our health because these are one of the things that we really don't go into here, mostly in the temple. We don't go into the details about what you should eat, why you should eat these, these type of things and that, this and that. And that's mainly because we look at things from a fundamental basis of thinking logically. And what that means is we have to understand in this day and time that your food, beside the genetically modified food, most things that you see on the planet have been genetically modified, man-made or not. Whether it's extraterrestrial involvement, or human involvement, most things have their modification. That's not anything new. Key case in point, for those that know the right knowledge, the right wisdom, and the right understanding, we know that one of the ancient pharaohs took two species or three different species of animals to create another animal. And we should be very familiar with that fact that genetically modified organisms are not too much a new thing. So I'm not going to lean toward the hype and the buzzwords that are used in different spheres of thinking when it comes to us discussing health and health matters. In actuality, if we're thinking logically, then we should be understanding the fact that spirit eat too. There's laws of the spirit. So you have the natural laws, which are considered physics. Then you have those supernatural laws. Those laws of the phenomenon, things that you can't see, the law of the unseen. And us thinking logically, you have the principles behind why certain people choose to continue to stay carnivores versus herbivores. Some of us are omnivores. Humans are technically, universally omnivores. So whether you want to eat more on a meat-based diet, which is, like I said, reasons for that, or a vegetarian-based diet, there's reasons for that. Because in the Holy Tablets, we see that plant, veggies, herbs, they're living too. So when you eat them, you're destroying them just as the same way you would have the concept for destroying an animal. And on top of that, logically, those herbs, those plants, those veggies, they have spirits. Same way. They might not have the soul, just like Caucasians don't have a solar plex, but a lunar plex. Veggies, herbs, spices, things things carry essences with them. They carry spirits with them. Same reason why you burn sage and you wave it and smack people in the face with it, and incense and things like that, and lavender and other type of incense have these certain abilities. Lavender helps to calm you. Frankincense and myrrh help to heal your body. So if we're looking at this from a new logical perspective, I'm not going to go into the fact, well, oh, you shouldn't be eating meat, or oh, you shouldn't be eating this, and oh, you shouldn't be eating that. Because, as I'm saying, the spirit, especially humans, if all humans just stop eating meat, you have some other stuff going on. And we should understand that from, like I said, the new logical perspective, which is what the master teacher was trying to walk us through and to understand through the cultural science of Nuwabu, or what you would say, or what you would call in Arabic, Nebuah, the spirit of the prophethood or the prophecy. So we're going to jump into this chapter 7, the living soul, like I say, because it's in conjunction with what we just read, the soul of man in the circle 7. 19 times 19 equals 361. And it states, Lo, Anu Aliyun El, the Supreme, the Most High, the highest of the Anunnaki, who is praised, the father of Enki and mother Ninti. It is he who made the makers and taught them all, who created the creators, and it is he who fashioned the fashioners. He is the one who is the originator of the originator, the builder of the built things, before the first, and after the last. Once you are out of love and compassion for yourself, then only, and only then, can you overstand the physical world in which you reside, in which you perceive through what you think to be your 5 senses. But in reality, when you did lay in the laboratory of Shemti, and time had gone by, there was your pituitary gland removed from you. This maimed you and cut you off from random access to the divine. Originally, you had what was called Natir Tatin, the 7 senses that could activate 7 higher senses. You could ascend even higher until you ascend until you ascend back into divinity. But you are still trapped by 1 sense, touch, which is multiplied by deception to 5. For to see, light touch nerve centers. To smell, particles touch nerve centers. To hear, sound waves touch nerve centers. And to feel, you reach and touch things, which activate your nerve centers. They multiply this 1 sense. The sense to really know, see, hear, taste, smell, feel. The removal of the pituitary gland removed the 4 higher senses, which are telepathy, psychometry, clairvoyance, and intuition. The senses are necessary for your random access throughout the boundless Omniverse, or universe. And they have trapped you in a state of cause and effect, to and fro, up and down, good and bad, in this world of cause and effect, the world of light. You were made human, given the lesser knowledge which controls you. When things are being thoroughly investigated, the knowledge becomes complete. Their knowledge being complete has made their thoughts sincere. Their hearts being rectified has made their thoughts sincere. Their hearts being rectified, their knowledge being complete has made their thoughts sincere. Their hearts being rectified in their self is then cultivated. With their self being cultivated, their families were regulated. Their states were rightly governed. The whole kingdom was made tranquil and happy. It is necessary for you to understand the spiritual realm and the world of darkness, in which you would be using all your 7 senses, thereby rendering you an Elohim. Then even higher onto your 9 senses, rendering you an etherical being, which is the true world of causes. The things of the world and its inhabitants are subject to change. There are combinations of elements that existed before, and all living creatures are what their past actions made them. For the law of cause and effect is uniform and without exception. The seven descending planes being Hanun, the potter, the Ab, heart of Anu, El Elo, the source, who is Aliyun El of the adobe called Lahu, from which the name El Elo, which is the appointed by El Palun, the all, from which all originate. The source of the divine reality, the spark of life. Life is the time you spend in your cot or body on earth or on other planets. From the moment of perception between the sperm and the ovum, there is life and life. Divine or otherwise prior to fertilization, there was a 3-month preparation inside of the female and the male in dark. This is actually the first 3 months of life of the human being. Once the egg is fertilized by the male sperm, the child is already in the 4th month of life. So a woman really carries a child for 12 months, and not the 9 months as you have been falsely led to believe. The source of the divine truth, the guardians or Anunnaki, the source of the mental plane of Ak or spirit, and Ba, the soul, where thoughts are formed, the source of the spiritual plane, where the emotions are manifest, the source of the plane of force, where the forces between voluntary and involuntary action, which life, substance is manifest. Sorry about that. The source of the material plane, the governor of carnal desires, material, not spiritual, like where Anu El, who is also Aliyun El, to rule over the heavens and the planet Earth, who is called Yahah or Jeva by the Mizramites or those of Kam or Kemet, called, which means Egypt. This became Yahweh from Yah, meaning agreeable, and Way, meaning disagreeable. He is being called the light of the heavens and the earth by those who worship the sun. This was placed in the heart of El Elo, source, who is called Anu. The plane of force is a plane about which the human mind cannot conceive the knowledge concerning. For he, El Elo, is the all-knowing and the all-wise, the supreme being. He is El Elo, and you should have no other El Elo with him. Say in your heart, I have faith by way of Anu, as he is, by using all of his names and acknowledging all of his special qualities. By accepting them in your heart and reciting it with your tongue, thus declaring, I will be faithful to Anu and all the messengers, or Anunnaki of Anu, and all of the scriptures of all those Rasulah sent by Anu, who is Anu, for guidance and in a final day when all actions will be judged, according to whether they be agreeable or disagreeable. All of this comes from Anu, Aliyun El, right up until death. There are 2 lives, life on earth and life after physical death. Death is the door which takes you from one stage in life to the next stage of higher life. If the person was a highly spiritual person, their soul will pass once through the planes, or even bypass the planes and go into the heavens or other galaxies, from where their soul and ether being originate. With the help of the elder Anunnaki, the Igigi, the heavenly host, or 24 elders who sit around the throne called Sheik, you should not weep at natural death, but rejoice and welcome the presence of the Allahum. The Anunnaki blessed you with old age, which allows the physical body to rest from the harmful activities that we indulge in every day. Old age prepares humans for their inevitable judgment. So escape not from the possibility of becoming elderly, for it is an honored gift that everyone receives. You may weep for murdered victims or accidents or illness and life cut off before old age. You can weep for the pain they felt, but not for the transferred from this world to the next. You cannot take from the all, and you cannot add to the all. The all merely shares, and you become. The plane of divine reality is the mental spark, the true essence of being, the light of the life in human being, a divine spark, reflected spark from Enuma El, the Most High, the Highest, manifesting itself as effect. Light disturbed the supreme balancement of darkness, and he created individualism, or a focal point, which manifests there as opposed to here. This light is in each individual, making them a supreme being unto being, known as Anunnaki, Allahumma, then unto human beings. Give me a second, dog. Sneeze. This spark, onto human beings, onto human, onto man, onto mammal, onto beast like man, beast onto demon. As ether being, rulers of the agreeable Anunnaki, Sarafat, who can incarnate on behalf of human beings. The disagreeable Anunnaki, Garbat, can incarnate on behalf of man and the band beast, having both male and female gender. For in the spirit, Kaiman, son of Atum and his wife Lilith, and Nekeba, daughter of Ptah and his wife Anat, are one being. Thus you, Cadman, are Nekeba, and you, Nekeba, are Cadman. He is also called Adam. It is on this plane where the mental spark forms. The shell of the spiritual body of Cadman, who is the ruler of Nasut, the abode of the innocent. A spark of divine consciousness leading to the development of the human soul. Being in the likeness of the Anunnaki and Anu, El-Elo, the most glorified and exalted, light as a child of the Elohim. This spark of consciousness, this mental spark that radiates a part of itself to the planes below it, it projects down through the spiritual plane and forms what you call the soul. It is the light of Anu, El-Elo, most glorified and exalted, becoming light. The spiritual body, or ethereal, you, is the shell of the soul. The spiritual body will be visible as ethereal form to those close to the deceased. This is the spirit together with the 2.5 of soul. And the breath of life, it is the last thing to leave the body, following the soul. The spirit then becomes drowsy and sinks into the preliminary sleep of the spiritual plane. The spiritual body houses the soul of the spiritual ethereal plane. When the breath of life ceases to exist in human being, the etherical cord in the spiritual body is cut. This allows the person to live an extended, independent, ethereal life, much like when a baby is born. The umbilical cord is cut from the mother, which he or she once depended upon. The baby comes out and begins a whole new life. The soul is greater than life, because when life is no more, the soul remains forever. And that which the being has done that has affected others, his soul is his essence, and his remembered time. The soul is greater. It gives you your will to live or die in the physical. Thus the physical life of the soul is 1,000 years in this realm, and the spiritual life of the soul, as the spirit is the shell of the soul, is 43,800 years. But the existence of the soul in the minds of those affected is eternal. When a person dies, the soul and the breath of life are the last thing to leave the physical body. Then the human shall live to 120 earth years, and 1,000 as nature and a part of nature on the plane of force, which is the breath of life. His existence goes on to complete the cycle of existence until he or she is remembered no more. Anu is remembered, Humbaba is forgotten. The soul is attracted by bacteria, and a form is shaped around it, which is a body that is formed by the hand of Anunnaki, the most glorified and exalted one, the benevolent one. On the arm of Enki, Israel, the angelic being of Det, son of Anu and Id, built on the atoms of the physical plane, it manifests as a mortal, body and spirit. The living soul is the successor of the earthly plane, a son of the Anunnaki. Cadmus, you were born of the will of Anu, El Elo, a living soul. The mental sparks all connected through the spiritual umbilical cord, the etheric. Right. So I'm gonna save the section for another day. But like I said, I want to touch on that part because it is the actual portion of the message that is in conjunction with the message from the prophet. So this is why I say you can't put spirituality in a box. This is not something that you can put in a box, or the soul of man that you can put in a box. Herbs don't work though. So you can't put spirituality in a box. I mean, I keep saying spirituality. You can't put the soul of man in a box, y'all. And how most people understand health and their health is different for someone who has new logical understanding of the health. Most people think health is affected by your body and what you put into your body. Really, from a new logical perspective, it's based on what you put into your mind, the knowledge that you put into your mind, the wisdom that you put into your mind. As I mentioned last week, you can make yourself sick by what you think alone. You can heal yourself by what you think, how you think, the mental pattern alone. So the reason why I'm going into this is because in this 5-year plan that we're going to have as a people and that we need to be focused on as a people, health is one of the main things that comes up in conversation. Well, what are we going to eat? How we're going to eat it? What are we going to grow? Those type of things. And we find ourselves with more of a biased way of thinking when it comes to what we consider a utopia to look like. So even if we're talking about fifth dimensional living, that doesn't necessarily mean that there won't be meat around. Doesn't mean that there won't be seafaring people around. From a new logical perspective, all things will be revised from a natural philosophy. And understanding natural philosophy helps you avoid those traps of being caught in thinking with the trend. Whatever's in with the trend, that's what we're doing. And spirituality today and lately has become just a trend for people's entertainment purpose. There's knowledge. So spirituality has become so spirituality has become a trend, but for us, neurologically, this is our livelihood at stake. This is concerning our livelihood. This is concerning our soul. This is why the master teacher did deep dives into research. Not to entertain us to be the best content community speaker, to be looked at as the smartest man on earth. That wasn't the intent behind the energy. The intent was so we have the right knowledge, right wisdom. The fact. And we want to take that even further with the truth. We want the truth. At this point, we want the truth. Because as even the master teacher mentioned himself, a lot of people got caught up in that right knowledge perspective and aspect, as I mentioned last week. Just arguing back and forth between each other, arguing over rhetoric. Same reason why I gave the disclaimer earlier about master teacher and his connection to prophet. Prophet is not around to redraft the Holy Qur'an Surah 7, especially not during the master teacher. So for someone that has a highly unique aspect and understanding of Islam, that is a card holding member, that is an adept, should do. Prophet said, better lace up your shoes before I get there. Better get ready. Because that means, as the master teacher put on the drawing, the drawing of the supplication between Prophet, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Farrakhan, Prophet, etc., back in those Mansour days, you're going to get ready to be able to understand these vast perceptions, but with revised knowledge that is up to date. And going even further with what we have today, with the up-to-date information that we're able to give. And like I said, you all should be participating in the furthering of our doctrine. Whether you're calling it Patrab,
some of these other different things, or you get into more of the scientific aspects of what we're trying to go into with the temple, the colloquial, we're doing doctrines based on newlogy, which is the academic portion of Nuabu. And this is the direction the master teacher wanted us to go in the first place, so we can teach the next generation. Because there's a way to explain Nuabu colloquially. Academic. As the master teacher mentioned before, the next generation is not concerned with Buddha, Moses, Abraham, and all these people. It's more of a scientific generation. Hence, the reason why I also mentioned you can't call it Moorish science, because it's Moorish. But as I also mentioned last week, we got to move past the rhetoric that causes us to be divided, causes more dissension, more tension between us all. Or else we're going to be stuck in that three-dimensional, fifth-dimensional split. Worried about the wrong thing. Fighting over the wrong thing. Things that do not matter. Missing 5-year plan. Which we have the divine plan of the ages. Just using that as a reference point. But you need to be on the plan. About the plan. A lot of Nubians, melanated indigenous people forgot about their inheritance I spoke last week. They forgot about it. They forgot about the project. If you don't remember, for those that know right knowledge, have access to it, go pick up the black book and then come back to me and let's talk. They think I'm just a Moor. Forget I got different names for different schools, which all means the same name. Going back to my English name, those that know my name in regular English. Name I was born with, my mom. Same name, throughout the mission. Belief is Lawiy gave you the Baphomet. We coming with the holy key. Holy key. From the book of Matthew. No, Kawinki, my name is Dr. Lawiy. Levi. So with that, y'all, I want to go ahead and dive into our next segment, but I do want to get into the like anything that they want to touch. These dudes was open. Y'all stupid.
True peace. I'd like to go over the 5-year plan of the ages a little bit more, if possible. or next week or whenever. But just to kind of get my own spirit towards being aligned. Or is that maybe what we're discussing right now? You know, what is the two lanes of the one road? You know, I know spirituality does have that entertainment-based level to it. You know, a lot of the people be going to the yogas just to mingle with each other a lot of times, but there's still, you know, powerful effects with that. But there's a lot of different ways of going about that. You know what I mean? Like the Chinese have Wing Chun, and you know, there's all the different types of martial arts and ways to be able to move your body. But there's definitely the mind, like you said, yeah. It's like I'm having difficulties interacting with people sometimes because I'm like, I have to share this because I'm trying to stop something from continuing to progress, but at the same time, by standing there, it almost feels like I'm standing in front of a tank. You know what I mean? Just like the Gandhi was standing in front of a tank, and it's like, are they going to run me over? They're going to actually listen, you know, listen to wisdom or listen to understanding. Not to say that I have the overall right understanding, but that's kind of why. That's what the idea of the fluidness of being participating here is to bring that magnetism, to say I don't have all the right answers, but I know that I have answers and other people have answers, and together we'll formulate the truth in the long run. So participating with a plan is better than just going, you know, along with whatever corporate capitalistic social enterprise is trying to get us to buy into. So true peace.
Islam. You hit the nail on the coffin. I mean, yeah, we got time to discuss here. You can actually click that link, the Holy Temples at the top of the room, and then go to the mission statement that should be under the Holy Seed tab, and then that'll give you some insight there as well about the divine plan of the age. I also
Got it.
think another, but it should be the. You want to kind of go over some of them things first, thing that come to mind.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's yeah. I'll go ahead and I probably have already gone over it, but when you mention it based on those lines, the 5-year plan, I'm like, all right, I need to get into it. So okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, the divine plan of the ages is actually on that page, and the mission statement from when we established the New Creative Society. Because, like I said, I mentioned before, a lot of our brothers and sisters that are, in the true light, that know about the true light, aware of the right knowledge, the right wisdom for the right understanding, they forgot what the plan was and caught up in, just creating more, more cultural divisions and, we call them splinter groups, but there's more division without any actual, direction. And, forgetting that we was given a plan. We was given some things that needed to be, completed. So a lot of people think what we're doing is, unorthodox or pseudo, as they want to call it. But the master teacher never said not create things and establish things under our cultural tenet. If anything, he left us with do-it-yourself instruction for how to do this. So those things that I went through are just an example. The things that we're doing is just an example. There's no one, like even the master teacher had to say this himself, but and many others, There's no one that has a monopoly on the right knowledge or the right way of going about doing it. No monopoly on that. So we all should be participant in the work. Yeah, if there's any current events that y'all want to touch on, we can go ahead and go on. I know it's a lot of going on with the bank, a lot of things going on with the banking world. So y'all want to touch? I said, my floor is open.
There's a Sadie in the room here. I don't know if she's able to, has an invite to speak. The only thing I've heard news-wise is the whole Ed Sheeran. I guess the whole.
Go ahead, Jonathan. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, the only thing I've heard news-wise is the whole Ed Sheeran copyright thing going on right now, and then the banks. The banking situation seems all over the place to me. I can't follow that fully.
Yeah, going on for some time. That's Noble shot.
Coming from the artist, the musician side of things, looking at copyrights, looking at music and performing out in venues, and now you have these live streaming services, it's been a challenge to be able to figure out where I fit in and, try not to be too angsty against some of the things involving copyrights. It's a real fine line for me. It's like I'm not 100% for them, but I'm not 100% against them. There's a lot of music I want to share that doesn't have them, but I might want to create copyrights if it's, working with other artists and being respectful for, fuels that come through money-wise. But I don't know. It seems like, everybody has the access to being in front of a screen and being able to put themselves out there in front of a screen, which is a way different modality than what the original media and censorship and organizations were working on. So I don't know who's as a people around the world, what is the long view? And I don't know. I think it's just a rudderless machine, and this divine plan might be the best bet, But I mean, that's just having faith.
It's gone. I can definitely say not who, but a what that has been pushing the narrative, because AI technology is nothing new and it's regaining popularity more now. Which before that you had the distraction thing going on with the metaverse. Everybody wants to be involved with that. But now, back on the AI craze. Yeah, so the divine plan of the age is a continuation of these ancient prophecies and natural philosophers, just understanding the principles of how nature works and where we would be positioning ourselves through the cycle continuing out future because a lot of what we know today is a gift from our scholars and sages and philosophers from before. So when we say nothing new under the sun, that's literally what that means. So when we look into the divine plan of the ages and we know what type of cycle we're in right now, it's only going based off of what data we collect from nature itself versus AI technology. AI technology and the game theory that is kind of spewed out from that. Because you got different projects like the Rainbow Project and Philadelphia experiment and all these things that took place, the time travel and all of that, so they can know what's going on in the future.
Yeah, I've definitely done some research along those lines. I'm real big on knowing that we might be able to change the future, perhaps if you know certain things, and being present, or maybe it'll naturally. I've seen plenty of those movies, so I mean maybe it'll just cycle right back around, and if you try to change, it'll just make whatever happens, and that's why. So I don't know. AI is cool. I've tried the Chat GPT, but at the same time, hooking it up to the actual World Wide Web to where it's like on 24/7 versus it being, I guess they're tiering it, so like the current database is from like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. So I don't know if that's what is being attempted, and then eventually they want to actually plug it into the network, and yeah, that's dangerous. I mean, that's not. I mean, because it's we the people have access to be able to ask questions and maybe think farther than we need to be thinking type thing, and doing things that we building projects or doing things that we don't necessarily need to be doing, but because you ask a simple question that leads to another question, it goes off on this tangent. So yeah, that's I think what the big notion or awareness of what's about to change. And I don't think they're plugging it in anytime soon, but I mean, we having access to it, you can ask it questions. The moment that these app companies like music software or video editing software taps into that, to where you can ask the AI to do something for you, it'll use those programs and go ahead and make whatever you're asking it to do. So it's almost like the hard leveraging of movements is going away, and yeah, it's not a pretty sight. You just see robots everywhere, and and not people. It should be about the people. So I mean, on the flip side, you might be able to make some really cool 3D hemp buildings that are able to house a lot of people, because you have the ability to design something like that and make it to where it's ecologically in balance with nature, and go through that process of finding the best ways to go about that. So I don't know. Yeah. So,
Yeah, and these things are not really new. If you ever heard of HAL, you got the whole HAL concept with IBM, and just like I said, AI being used to predict the future and all those things happening in the 80s and the 90s, and then like I say, the experiments that were done as well. You got those that you could kind of look back into. But let's go ahead and change the link at the top of the room and reset the room. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is branch temple number 24 of the Moorish Science Temple of America. We're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they may learn to love, hate, come and link yourself with the family nation. So I'm gonna jump into the Most Holy Qur'an before we go into our holy instruction. Read one chapter. Under the weather out here, man. I know y'all sneeze. Was it just this pollen getting to me? Either all right, so we're gonna jump into chapter 16 called Al-Katia, which means the many gifts. They changed it in the translation to chapter 102. It's a real short chapter. Commentary states the hoarding of the many things preoccupy you until you visit the graveyard. Preoccupation of this world definitely leading to Al-Jahim. You all will see purgatory with your own eyes. You will be asked about the grace you have enjoyed. So that is kind of what we talked about last week, past 2 weeks. Grace. Don't forget the grace. We'll pop it back up again this week. Finding yourself in these circles that are beating each other up, knowledge, and this, that, third, and forgetting to give one another grace. So let's get into the ayat. It says, hoarding al katia, many things of this world preoccupy until you all, the tomb, visit al mukabir, the tomb or grave. Fella, nevertheless, you will soon know all things you did. Thumma, then, nevertheless, will you know. Nevertheless, if you had certainly known the preoccupation what this world was leading to, you will verily see al-Jahim or al-Jahim, hell's blazing fire. Then you will certainly see it, purgatory, with your own ayin, physical eye, where this world is leading to. Then you will be asked on that day about al-Naim, the grace you have been enjoying. Surah Allahu al-Azim. So that's something to think about, like I said, this past week. Don't forget to enjoy grace, because those that are not enjoying it is going to be asked, had you been enjoying? A lot of people missing grace that we've given. All right, y'all. So we're gonna jump right into the holy instruction. That right there, something to sit on, something to kind of sit back and ponder about. Get into these holy instructions.
So we went over the study of our civic, called civil rights, is the study of theoretical, political, and the practical aspects of citizenship, which concerns the actual citizen itself, as opposed to external factors like operation of government. We touched on our civic virtues, our cultivation of habits as a community, which makes for a successful community, and as well as touched on our civic engagement, which is when we come together to take collective action to address issues of public concern. So we're gonna jump into these other structures. As you all know, Friday is the holy day. Oh, you who know. When the call is proclaimed to supplication on Friday, the day of assembly, hasten earnestly to the remembrance of the Heavenly Father and Divine Mother, and leave off business and traffic. That is best for you if you but knew. And when prayer is finished, then may ye disperse through the land, seek the bounty of God, celebrate the praises of God of sin, and without stint, that ye may prosper. All temple services and meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7. And love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto the Father God of love. That cause Friday is our holy day for all Muslims and peacemakers all over the world. This is according to Act 2 of the Divine Constitution and bylaws by the Prophet Ali, which states all temples and supporting temples are to conduct holy day service every Friday, starting promptly at their respective time and ending promptly at their respective time. All civilians, patrons, denizens, prospects, and ministers are expected to attend the temple for the Friday Holy Day temple service and meet. On Fridays, the Moorish American, Moorish Asian, and Moorish African Muslims and peacemakers all come together to supplicate and to illustrate that which Allah has blessed. Temple services are open according to divine love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. At no time will templates, adepts, ministers, patrons, or outside congregational guests be allowed to disrupt the Holy Day service, nor will civilians be admitted under the influence of alcohol or any severe intoxicant. All temples, adepts, and civilians attending the Holy Day service must have their heads covered with either a turban, fez, or kufa, or spiritual cover. Baseball caps should not be worn in the temple or during temple service. The Sunday school temple service and meeting is mandatory in all Moorish national templates, and temple denizens must promptly attend the temple service and send their children to the Sunday school gathering. The teacher must conform himself or herself to the temple 101 questionnaire and let every civilian man, woman, and child exercise his or her five senses who is able to do so. Because out from your Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation, and now the entire global village. According to Act 5 of the additional laws by the Prophet Zabuwr Ali, every subordinate temple shall have two Sunday school gatherings. Sunday school gathering held. The first meeting should be held 1 to 2 hours before the adult service. Children's Sunday school should be conducted by a director of the Children's Sunday School program. The Sunday school gathering is designed to assist the temple in learning the Temple 101 questionnaire and developing an understanding of just what these holy keys mean and how they ought to be applied to our everyday life. The Divine Constitution and bylaws, along with the Moorish prayer, the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation, El's Holy Injiyl, El's Holy Qur'aan, and the civic edition or lessons of the Holy Temple of Moorish Science are also subjects of major concern for the apprentice who is trying to complete his or her mandatory requirements for pronouncement, civilianship, and global nationality. All lessons for the adult Sunday school gathering must be prepared by a Grand Sheik, a divine minister, or an assistant Grand Sheik. Lessons called by us Novite tradition may be submitted to the apprentice for completion and returned to the temple. Once the lessons are completed and graded, they must be placed in the active member temple.
The Sunday school temple service and meeting is a wonderful opportunity to study the liturgy teachings of the prophet. No civilian is to become disrupted during the Sunday meeting. All temples must bring paper and pen to the service and meeting, along with the basic temple literature. No templars or patrons to eat food or other snacks during the temple service or meeting, but water is permitted. All templars must attend their Sunday temple service and meeting as diligently as they attend their holy day temple service and meeting. Both were called out for by the prophet Noble and is required as a matter of temple law. According to the Divine Constitution, Act 7 in part, all templars must promptly attend their temple services and meetings to become a part and parcel of all of this of America, and now also more science of Africa, more science of Asia, and adjoining were islands on behalf of all people. For membership, any heads of temple of all temple jurisdictions are not charged for naturalization or overcharged for cards, buttons, or anything provided through the prophet. Those who contribute to any of the proceedings are not Moors, civilians, or patrons, but robbers. Temple nationality and membership in the Holy Temple Fast State, what we call a public beneficiary trust. Public beneficiary trust sisters and brothers, kin and kinfolk are free, not only here but all over the world. All kin and kinfolk desiring to become a civilian of a subordinate temple must follow these instructions from the temple secretary and acquire their application for naturalization, which could also be a website that was pinned to the top of the room earlier, Holy Temple. The secretary of the temple's jurisdiction will help all newcomers by explaining the newcomers naturalization affidavit, and application for membership in the Temple Fast State or public beneficiary trust to the new prospective civilians of the Temple Fast State public beneficiary trust, and arranging for him or her to be consulted by the Royal Council of said temple or subordinate. The Royal Chairman or woman will set the date for the new temple prospect to be interviewed by the Royal Council. The new temple court civilian, upon completion of the Royal Council consultation at the newcomers gathering, Sunday school gathering on Sunday, the new templars will proclaim their temple nationality at the next coming holy day gathering. After the new civilian prospect proclaims his or her nationality, they will be given the mandatory requirements necessary to earn their free national name and royal title of nobility as a true American royal. These requirements are as follows, and in accordance with Chapter 47 of the Moorish Circle 7 Holy Qur'an, called Egypt the capital dominion of the Empire of Africa. Chapter 25 of the Moorish Qur'an, called the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic Nation. The Moorish Prayer, including the 101 Qur'an questions for Moorish Americans aged in Africa. The Divine Constitution and Bylaws, the additional laws, and the precepts and statutes and ordinances for Hell's Holy Torah, Hell's Holy Injiyl, Hell's Holy Qur'an, and the Holy Tabernacle Family Guide, and also the Holy Tablet, through our Civics 101 course in the Global Indigenous School District and State House Learning, which is called New University by us, the Holy Temple of Moorish Science, for every one of the global village. Once a new civilian or template has learned these additions or lessons verbatim, or to the best of their ability, he or she will be interviewed by the Temple's Royal Council as the chaplaincy to determine if the new civilian is qualified to represent himself or herself as American, Moorish African, and Moorish Asian Muslim, or indigenous people, and communicated to the ignorant for their instruction, communicated to the wise for dying on the truth. Once the new civilian or template has cleared the mandatory requirements with the Royal Council, he or she will be naturalized by the Great Sheik and Divine Minister of said. Those are the holy instructions, which is clear cut, not none of this status correction stuff that most people are running into. So this is what that divine plan is about, is getting the knowledge out to people so they can learn how to proclaim their nationality as indigenous people without, like I said, like I said last week, without being put in subjection to different agents. Right? So about to jump over for the proclamation. The Holy Shahada, or a proclamation of nationality procedure, which is pronunciation of one's nationality that will be held on Holy Day for all civilians, denizens, simple peacemakers, or Muslims all over the world. During the ceremony, the new civilian or templars will be ordained in El Bay and given his or her royal peerage title of kin, honorable, lady, noble, nin, knight, prince, by a grand sheik or divine minister, and also receive his or her nationality card and button from the divine minister of the Grand Master Temple. Upon conclusion of the nationality proclamation, the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister will have the civilian templates and temple prospect stand while he or she reads the authority of the Moorish Science of America. It is by virtue of the Religious Corporation Act document that can be found and heard by statute that gives the Moorish Science of America, Asia, and Africa the authority to restore the nationality and birthright to the lost America, Asia, Africa, and all world islanders, and give them the title of their vast state and their heritage. The Grand Sheik and Divine Minister is to read from the card and have the new national state. Allah is God, and overdraw the prophet. And I am Moorish American, African, Asian, and all world islander. This is our Moorish clarification of faith Atra and our national pledge of allegiance. The new civilian or tempest-free national name should then be added to the temple life as a role in Civics 101 course and our complimentary club. The nationality ceremony should be conducted by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister, or any other Divine Minister so designated by the Grand Sheik and Divine Minister in his or her time of absence, and most notably by the Assistant Grand Sheik and Divine Minister. The nationality card and application must be signed bearing the name and title of the Grand Sheik or Divine Minister who issued the application and card and the date of its issue. The Religious Corporation Act is deemed the Global Interdependent School District and the Incorporated and Chartered Moorish Science Temple of America, Africa, and Asia as a religious trust and theocratic government established in 1928 on August 20th. This religious trust is the true global trusteeship system for the Holy Family of Nations, forming a global nucleus. All right, y'all. So that, like I say, is the straight and narrow on how to proclaim your nationality without all of the status correction rhetoric, straight to the point, and don't have to become someone that qualifies, put yourself under these different status, such as resident alien and all these things, and start to use along the way, especially those that understand the fundamental things, operations of government. And also, you want to be wary of those trying to eventually be ex parte without even knowing the proper procedure or being prepared for it. And usually that comes with having financial advice about how to go about it and legal advice. Well, just be cautious about that. All right, y'all. So we're gonna jump into the mandatory literature. Prophet. Make it through. But on to y'all. Bear with me. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the message from the prophet, the members of the first, and we can get into sitting in the olive branch. Those that join temple home spiritual. So these are instructions from the prophet, members of the Moorish Science. Prophet say, be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deed. So blessed. Allah is the one that judged the world, and his judgment is now on. But the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, Ali. And that is why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear. Least they would be confounded of their sin. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they're trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temple. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. True peace, the divine prophet. Bro. y'all. So go ahead and extend that olive branch to those that are listening to the replay listen from YouTube. Want to get involved, reach out to us on social media, just YouTube or Clubhouse, either or. Send me a message. I'll be glad to be able to reply. But this is especially for those that are looking to seek home, spiritual home, in that olive. With that, I want to read the message of the prophet. He speaks to the nation. Prophet said, if you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Club of America, become a part of the divine movement. Then you will have power to redeem your race because you will know who you are and your forefathers. Because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because our prophet sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now. Need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. This is an open field to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your affairs. Take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish national divine movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what was meant when it says, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you. Father Prophet. So you click that block of words at the top that say World Temple. Go ahead and join us, especially if you listen to the replays. Like I say here every week, you want to listen to everything that we discuss from beginning to end. Even on days like this, slow days, consider that. You never know what kind of jewels may be dropped all the way in. All right, but then I'm gonna do one more reset, y'all. We're gonna go into the mandatory literature from the prophet. Close out. Get any last closing remarks? Y'all back and join Friday. Brian said Friday, y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all with family, friends. I'm definitely
I have a quick question, if that's alright.
fine. Go right.
Yeah, part of the body. Yeah, so you know how there's different martial arts and yoga from India. Does Nubians have their own form of kind of like an exercise practice or spiritual routine that you'd be going through or whatever?
No, go ahead, finish.
I was trying to phrase it, trying to end the sentence there, but I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh yeah, most definitely. In actuality, Tai Chi is one of.
Okay. The Tai Chi, yeah. Okay. So that's kind of the roots is stemming from the Nubians. Got it.
Correct. Even the ancient and divine creed that we call ancient and divine here, that's a Nubian thing, a Nubian thing. The Nebuah, prophet, the messengers, the Rasul, that culture is called Nebuah, Nuwabu. So the same thing would be concluded for the Sahatras and sages, philosophers, even your Gnosticism and things like that. I'm gonna do one last room reset. branch temple number 24 of the Moorish Science of America. We're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. They may learn to love instead of hate. Come link yourself with the family of nations by clicking that box words at the top that say World Temple. Join us next week, Holy Day. Don't be afraid to come off the mic, one bite, and share. And join us as one of the speakers tonight. Join on in. But the YouTube link is in the chat, y'all. Y'all can check it out. Please share the YouTube link, get it out there, like I say, so we can continue to grow, hit the algorithm. We almost at 700 subscribers. We'll be on our way to 1,000. And then from there, we need to watch our so that way online. And then you'll really see excitement as we continue to grow. Because we'll have a lot of people questions, challenges that are going to be thrown out there for the ways people heard. Then I'm gonna go into the mandatory meetings, mandatory message meeting. And like I said, we'll close out with the final remark. All right, with that, y'all, I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while they're working at homes or on the street. We're for peace and not destruction. How fast your card to Europeans causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be a severe consequence. We're for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must be taken. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet, or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement, will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deed. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet of Lawiy, and if the prophet is not right, the temple is not. The prophet therefore is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. True peace. Zabuwr Ali. Take heed to that message from the prophet. Get the state of the prophet found. I went over that a couple holy days ago about the state of being and our emotions. All right, so we're gonna read this last mandatory meeting from the prophet. Message I can't meet, y'all. I'm under the weather, but also fatigued, real heavy. I don't even know how I'm making it through this meeting, but bear with me. Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement, now by the same people of outside of the nation. They claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme they can. They are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respect to me in the movement, will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present. So I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world would not recognize the movement without me, the prophet, being head. It's been proven by my work, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drawley. We nothing without a treasury, Noble. No nation of people is anything without a treasury. And we're watching the state of the American economy right now as we speak. We want to keep our eyes on these situations closely and tight knit, and also be prepared in case we have to cover a lot of the protections that America used to afford us as Americans, because Moorish Americans seem to not think that they're not a part of the American, part and parcel of the American government. The government is the people. We people are the government. With that, y'all, we're gonna go into our closing prayer. Any last remarks before I close out prayer? Anybody got anything I want to add on for tonight? Bless us with any message. If not, I will be going into the prayer, closing this true peace. Close up.
True peace. I just wanted to say thank you for bearing with me since I met you, man. Thank you. True peace to the gods.
True peace to the guys. No problem, Brother Jonathan. Appreciate that. Appreciate everyone that came here in this tonight. We had eight people come through. Y'all could be anywhere in the world, but y'all was here with me and Sheik, Dr. Lawiy, and once. Like I said earlier, the prophet and the relationship that he had at the time was a game changer for most that wasn't used to what the prophet was trying to bring us out of mental slavery. So continuing forward with the master teacher, same thing. A lot of people wasn't ready for what the master teacher had to bring, especially with the vast amount of knowledge that he was tapping into. Some of the Moors still could barely tap into what the prophet was bringing and the vastness of what the prophet brought in that knowledge, especially from studying the 101s and all the other literature that the prophet came with. But as the prophet said, I gave you what you needed, simply, so that you can save yourself. Same thing with Elijah Muhammad. The Nation of Islam, being a branch of the Moorish Temple of America, we seem to forget that. So having that up-to-date right knowledge, right wisdom for the right understanding, even through the works of the master teacher, we have to understand that the work is not done. It's not done. Like I said earlier, what we're here to do, bring things into that new logical perspective. But all of us could work together through the extended olive and understand what our true culture is still the same today. Each and every one of these organizations, they have leaders, they have organizers, they have their sages, their wise men, their wise women that lead those organizations. So we've been practicing the same culture since time immemorial.
Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. Gonna jump into the prayer. Close it out. As you know, 2 fingers up, 5 fingers up, facing the east, feet at a 45-degree angle. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, Zabuwr. See y'all this Sunday and next through peace. Wadu. I want to give honors to all that came here tonight and all those that'll be here Sunday. Through peace. Wadu. I want to give honors to the divine creator as well. So with that, Wadu.